Say something, Chris.
Chris, you can't pull this shit again.
I don't think he's coming back out.
Oh, okay. There's a chair there.
Welcome back to Gamers Guide to the Galaxy, where people like to leave us and never come back.
And I'm sure my downstairs neighbors hate me right now.
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. So,
welcome back to Gamers Guide to the Galaxy, the show where we talk about all things gaming, and you can talk with us with the chat on the left, and where we scare puppy dogs.
Yeah.
Apparently. Happens. Life goes on.
it does. So, before the break, we said we'll come back and we'll talk about some Borderlands.
Yes. Now, to be specific, we're not going to stick to any one game. There are currently 3 games in the series, which I believe they're not ending at. They are going to introduce at least a 4th, possibly a 5th.
Okay.
So, currently, the newest one being the pre-sequel, the middle game.
Middle game. It's not the sequel, it's not the prequel, it's kind of between the 2 games, it's kind of...
Yeah. It's like the shitty Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's your opinion on Borderlands?
Well,
as a game series.
as a game series, I do like Borderlands as a game, as a whole series. I like it though. The concept of it, the animation style.
Mm-hmm.
And each game has impressed me more than the last so far.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I was not that impressed with the first Borderlands. It was very plain. It was, desert,
Yeah.
desert. And the gameplay got extremely repetitive, which is to be expected in first-person shooter games.
Yeah.
The gameplay does get repetitive, but with something this long, it needs to do something. It needs, Borderlands 2 improved a lot of the complaints I had, but it's still, after a while, after 15, 20 hours, it's very, very repetitive, and gotta move on to something different.
Now, my question to you is, did you play with friends?
That is the other thing. No, I did not play with friends because I didn't have friends that played Borderlands.
Okay.
I didn't have friends that played a lot of the same games I played. So, yeah, growing up I did play mostly one-player games, and I didn't have a lot of friends who played the multiplayer games with me. I was the only friend I had that played Call of Duty and played Halo.
Because those complaints make sense when you're playing with one person.
Yes.
Me personally, I love Borderlands. It's one of my favorite gaming series. I get excited anytime there's news about it.
It's true. I've seen him jump up and down when the pre-sequel was announced.
It was great. It was a glorious movie for me. I love the characters. I love the artistic style of it, where it's actually still high definition. There's still great, things to view, but it's not always 100% on the graphics. It's more of core gameplay, but they made things look cool too. I like the concept of it, where it's kind of like what Destiny should have been.
Oh yeah, it is. It is definitely what Destiny. It's definitely what Destiny sounded like it was going to be.
Yeah.
Destiny sounded like it was going to be almost like an MMO version of Borderlands,
Yeah.
and it hasn't been actually. It's very disappointing
It
actually.
is. But I love the whole concept of it. I love everything about it. It's great. I love the people who make it. They make great comedy of it.
Yeah, that's another good thing about the animation style though. You can't. I feel like if they had gone with the realistic graphics, it would have.
That would have been a lot worse of a choice.
It would have been. There actually is a game that reminds me of a more serious, more realistic-looking version of Borderlands called Rage, which I've been playing.
I don't know Rage.
I do have fun playing it, but it's not Borderlands. It's definitely not. It doesn't have that humor. Doesn't have the cool weapons.
Well, and me personally, I think Borderlands has a lot more story than just the crude humor that it portrays on the front. That's something that draws everyone in because it's funny. Borderlands 1 had a lot of it, but definitely not as much as Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel do.
Oh, yeah.
Borderlands 1 to me was a lot of the same, bland. It was their first go at it. They definitely created a nice, interesting world, though, I feel.
Yeah.
I was very invested in the world, which doesn't happen a lot for me. I actually very rarely get invested in games like this, where I know a lot about the world and what's going on, and I care about characters like this. So Borderlands to me is a very good storytelling game.
Yeah.
And speaking of storytelling, the stories on these ones, main campaign, are phenomenal. You know, especially if you kind of count in all the side missions, all the optional dialogue that you can gather through echo devices, and all this other stuff that you can do. It has minimum, I think, at least like probably 38 hour story to listen to, play, find, everything. Minimum 38 hours. That's not including added levels via DLC or all the raid bosses. Which raid bosses in those games are freaking amazing to do. They're so much fun.
No. See, that's the funny thing is like, I talk about the repetitiveness of Borderlands, but there was a game that was just as repetitive when looking back, and it was Skyrim. But for Skyrim, I held in for like 40, 50 hours before finally decided, like, you know, I should just go beat the final boss and then see how the game ends. And that was a bullshit ending, and then
you got mad.
I got mad, I put it down for a couple days, and a couple days later I started thinking about it. I'm like, that game was actually, I don't know why.
I played it.
I mean, it might have been like the level up system, like, you know, I gotta max out on something. And Borderlands, I don't know why Borderlands just didn't hold me in. It's even got the leveling system.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have.
I think this time, because I'm going to be walking you through this one, the newest one. Adam has not played the pre-sequel just yet. We're doing it later today, after this does end. So probably next week, or possibly at some point, we may be streaming it. Or maybe not. We don't know yet. We got to see how good he is.
Yeah, I'm not going to stream this one. I will record it, though.
All right.
I will record it, and, you know, we'll do a little let's play of it.
Okay.
That'll be fun. But
I find that the first time I really delved into the game was Borderlands 2. That's the big one for me. And I actually went through every little piece of DLC, which I think they did a fantastic job with as well. I think, as a standard, I hold all DLC up to Borderlands and Halo 3 map pack DLCs.
See, now you know my opinion on DLC. I think it's, for the most part, it's a ripoff. You know,
yep.
Spend $10 and get horse armor. We're looking at you, Oblivion. But now, the Borderlands DLCs, they were like the ones that I looked at, kind of like, yeah, I'll get them when I finish the game. You know, I'll beat the main campaign. But like I said, they couldn't hold my attention for that 40, 50 hours it took to beat the game.
Which is an impressive amount of time. That was a very in-depth story.
I got to give it props for that. Usually, you know, first-person shooters, their stories usually, you know, 5, 6, 7 hours maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Halo 2 was like the longest FPS campaign ever. And I loved that one so much. Like, some people were like, I hate playing the Hour. I'm sitting there going, I'm invisible, bitches. And so it was kind of, you know, it's kind of refreshing to see a first-person shooter come back with that. I mean, the Far Cry series kind of does. The Far Cry 3 had
they have a pretty long story as well.
Had an interesting, very interesting story, and Far Cry 4 looks to be just as interesting.
Yeah.
So.
But I feel like in Borderlands 2, stuff like, you know, Hammerlock's Big Game Hunt, Tiny Tina's Buggers Badass, which is my favorite DLC in the entire series.
I just like the intro movie.
Yeah, I know you do. So many good jokes with that one. And all the ones, even the Headhunter packs, were a little bit rushed. They were a little bit more holiday-ish, season-ish, and they were shorter because they did listen to their community, and they said, you know, we have a few of them that are a little shorter. We love the long ones, but we want some of them that don't take us an additional 12 hours. Because those DLCs for Borderlands, they're entire mini stories, which is amazing to have. Because you have the main story, and then Hammerlock, who's a NPC that you can take a few missions from, to his own breakout DLC where, you know, he gets fleshed out, and then, you know what I mean, you play Tiny Tina's and you see her grieving with the death of a friend and trying to come to grips with that because you realize that she's still just a child instead of this, you know, in this post-apocalyptic world.
Instead of the psychopathic killer. That loves explosives.
And, butts. But, you know what I mean, that kind of thing where, you know, it actually tells you a story and fleshes out the world and the characters. It's amazing what they did with it. And I think that's something that, you know, people should take note on.
Oh, yeah.
Finish your game, expand on people that, you know what I mean, people might be interested in those DLCs.
Yeah, and it actually does it kind of interesting because it uses the silent protagonist, which is something I hate it. I hate the silent protagonist. I want the main character to have a personality. But with Borderlands, because of the other personalities, you still get invested in the story. You still feel like you have to keep going because it doesn't matter what your character's like. It's these guys. You're doing it for these guys. You know, there's a lot of games where it's like the silent protagonist, it just didn't work.
Yeah, because you're a nameless face with doing nameless things for nameless NPCs that are generic, and you do the same one 6 times.
Yeah. I mean, there were, like, Dishonored. I love the gameplay of the game Dishonored, but the story was, I didn't care in the end. It's just, I had a silent protagonist. They went through so much trouble designing this character, and there wasn't even, like, a third-person view cutscene. It was all in first person. They were all like, "You're him," and it's like, well, thanks, but I don't get to do anything different. It's not like I can answer the questions in 20 different ways or something.
And actually, in the pre-sequel, they changed that a little bit. You do talk more.
Oh, really?
I play as Nisha on that game so far, who is actually Jack's girlfriend in Borderlands 2.
Nice.
She's the one that runs the town, the sheriff. Remember that?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm playing as her. And they add in specific interaction between the person that you play and the person that you're talking to. So, for example, Nisha has unique conversations with Jack. Because in this one, it's all about Jack, who's the main villain of Borderlands 2. But in this one, you kind of see him go from the average Joe who's trying to do something good. You know what I mean? Join a company, work on projects to do good, to becoming this evil person, and the reasons behind it, how he goes into this just depth and reasons why.
Okay.
And you kind of sit there and you kind of go back from that at some points, you kind of don't. You kind of like, oh, you're still a dick though.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Cause sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes it's better not to know why the villain is. I feel with Jack though, it actually kind of helps.
From my point of view, I just completed the main story of Borderlands, the pre-sequel, I think yesterday.
It's all blur now.
It is all blur now. The days are mushing together. It's all coming together now. But it was really gratifying to me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because they didn't make him out to be a hero that he never was. It's not ever at a point where he's like, I'm the best, I'm super nice, and blah, blah, blah. He's like, go kill those dickheads for me, please.
And then his parents get shot, and he's, no! I kill everybody.
It's not Batman.
Oh, really? Is this not?
Not Batman.
Not Batman? Oh, okay. I saw him.
But, like, alright, did you notice in the end of Borderlands 2 that without Jack's mask, he actually has the vault burned into his face? The symbol for the vault? You find out how that happens.
Did he get too close to the vault?
Maybe.
What's this?
You know what I mean? You find out all these things about the person, and it does give him a little justification for his hate, but overall, to me, he's still a dick.
Okay.
And, you know what I mean? But the outlying characters is more the focus. The people that you meet. For example, Wilhelm, do you remember him?
Yeah.
He's a playable character as well. You find out how he became Jack's right-hand man. You know what I mean? What the causes are behind that. Nisha, his girlfriend, how she became that. You know what I mean? How these people progressed in the game. And it's really interesting, actually. And it gives you a sense of more moral ambiguity with those characters, the characters that you're playing. Because you can see how, from your point of view, he might be actually doing something good. He might be not going about it the best way, but he's actually trying to do something good.
Okay. Is there a horse covered in gold?
No, not currently.
Oh, damn. Did he do that like right before Borderlands 2 started?
He never had a gold. You're talking about the diamond pony called Butt Stallion?
Was it a diamond? I thought it was a...
No, it's made out of diamonds.
I thought it was a gold-plated horse. I thought he poured gold horse.
No, he made it out of diamonds. He physically made a horse out of diamonds and called it Butt Stallion.
But I can hear it on this radio.
It's made of diamonds.
We'll have to look that up because I swear it was a... I swear he had a gold horse, and he's like, seriously, I poured.
What's that? Here, girl.
And then you hear the. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you feed it iridium, and it poops out guns.
What?
Yeah, trust me, I know myself. It's a diamond horse.
Okay.
And it has a rainbow tail. See? I know. But personally, I think Borderlands is something where a lot of games need to look to figure out what they did right, because it is over the top 99% of the time, you know, when you look at it, and parents will look at this game and think it's stupid.
Yes.
That's like the outer shell of it, but it has such rich content on the inside, and the most freaking Easter eggs I've ever seen in a game.
Oh yeah, definitely. So
Did you know there's an entire Mario level in the game?
in 2?
In 3.
Pre-sequel?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, no joke. You actually go into a pipe. Like, it's a city, it's like a hidden thing where you just stay on a platform that would normally kill you. You raise up into the ceiling, into a pipe, you pop out of a pipe, and then it's gold, like the normal gold blocks from Mario, where it's like, you know, the flooring and stuff, and there's jump blocks and stuff, and it even copies the World 1-2 thing, whereas if you jump up and where you're not supposed to be and run along it, you get to the 3 war pipes.
Oh god.
So it's like,
awesome.
It's freaking awesome. I saw Doctor Who references. I saw, you know, like, just so many references to different things. You know what I mean? They even did a Skywalker one where, you know what I mean, there's a little twerp that, you know, wants to go racing with you, and he gets really mad when you beat a score, and he calls his dad on you. And, like, all the names are from Star Wars and stuff. And they call it pod racing. So it's freaking hilarious, and I love that they make these references. They put so much time and energy into the community, into things that you may never even see. That, to me, I think that is something that the industry needs to look on and do more of. Because that Tiny Tina DLC was so satisfying to me, to figure out all that stuff, and so I wish that every DLC made me go through an adventure like that.
So, basically what we're coming down to is, if you're gonna make this huge expansive world, and you're gonna have features like, you know, multiplayer, co-op,
Yep.
you should probably play the Borderlands games to get an idea of what people like before you know, release a game, say, with Peter Dinklage's voice in it, and think that this is enough. Because another thing is, Borderlands, while I did play it by myself, and like I said, it didn't hold my attention for long, but did you hear the time I was saying? 15, 20 hours.
Yeah.
15, 20 hours for a single player playing in a game that's pretty much made to be for co-op.
Yeah.
It's still a really long time. Whereas,
well, it's not even just. I've played through that entire thing single player so far.
yeah,
I mean, not to discredit, you know, what you're saying, but I think that for you need somebody there to help you out, and, you know what I mean, find interesting things with and joke around with and make more fun.
that's what I need.
Me personally, I find humor and comedy in the quests and the side quests, and I'm more of a completionist where I'm like, all right, complete one story mission, sweep all the areas, get all the side quests done. Awesome, I got this gun, I got that gun, choose which one I want, do all my loadouts.
I would do, but I just can't do it by myself forever, because eventually you're just sitting there in the same thing, which is kind of the reason why I really have a hard time going back to Destiny's, because I got it on a different system because it was supposed to have better stuff for the PS4.
Yep.
But no one else got it on the PS4 that I know, so here I am stuck with the Destiny for PS4, and it's kind of boring playing it by yourself.
Yes. Also, have fun doing that PS4 only raid.
By myself.
Yeah.
Weep!
Because that really infuriated me, that they did, even, you know, giving PS4 better weapons, more advantages, fine, whatever, we can deal. To lead out an entire thing like that is something that I don't think any game studio should do.
It's not something they should have done. I
understand
why they did it. They're Bungie. I'm honestly shocked that the game was released on Xbox after everything. But it's just their way of saying they didn't want to help Microsoft. They wanted when they announced the game, they announced it'll have better stuff on PS4 right away. They announced it would have more on PS4. They were heavily implying that people should get the PS4 version.
Yeah, but you can't expect people to have both systems, or you know what I mean. And I understand that they're trying to market to PS4 users so that they buy a PS4, but there's a lot of Xbox One games that I wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and a lot of people that I know that are indulged in this Bungie community that they built that are only on Xbox. Yes. You know what I mean? And to do that where they're saying, oh, well, you don't get the raid, when that's the only thing I have left to do in that game, that to me scores a lot of points in the negative column, and that really does hurt, you know, how I view their relationship with their fans. Because at the end of the day, put your own little squabble aside, you know, with Microsoft, and do right by your fans.
Yeah, you gotta. I think Bungie kind of forgot that they've had a really messed up history. They started out, you know, their own little company, then they were bought by Apple, then they were bought by Microsoft.
Yeah.
Halo was going to be an RTS game.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft told them to make it a first-person shooter. It blew up. Microsoft milked it for everything it had. It saved the Xbox.
Oh yeah.
Xbox was dying before Halo came out. Halo came out, saved it. People were buying Xboxes
just for Halo.
Just for Halo. Same thing with the 360. Halo 3 came out. People started buying 360s just for Halo.
Do I know people that bought several PCs, Xbox 360s, because their Xbox 360 died and they couldn't stop playing Halo 3.
Yes.
Like they salvaged their hard drive, slapped it into the new one, didn't care about the other hard drive, and just kept on playing Halo 3.
So, and then Bungie finally gets out on their own,
mm-hmm.
and I think they kind of forgot that all of their fans were buying Xboxes before.
Yeah.
All of their fans were the X-Bros, basically.
Yeah. And not even that they're console dependent, but they made the decision at some point to go into a multi-console market. It's not fair to your customers who are on Xbox, that you know are on Xbox, to leave them out of the loop just because you don't like Microsoft. It's not a good thing to do. It doesn't serve brownie points to people with PS4, because they would have that content either way. It just makes people pissed off.
It really does. And
I think with this Destiny release, a lot of people have lost a lot of faith in Destiny and in Bungie itself.
And
the next game that they release, it's not going to have that automatic buying factor anymore. Because I know we said, you know, oh, it's Bungie, it's going to be a good game.
It's going to be.
We're going to play it.
It's going to have, like, the amazing gameplay. It's going to have this amazing story. And
after this kind of flop, I don't think that they're ever going to have that again.
No, they're
so this, you know, also leaving their fans out. Now you've also got a discredited fan base who may not buy your game because you're Destiny anymore or you're Bungie anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So next time you go to make a game, it might not sell because we don't have the face that we used to.
Yeah. I mean, I know we're getting a little short on time, but
yeah.
Bungie was, in my opinion, for a long time, one of the better game companies. There's very few game companies I look at and go, they do it for the players. They don't do it for money. They will throw something out entirely in the end if they thought it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
Blizzard did this with Titan.
Which we did talk about earlier.
Which we did talk about. Absolutely. You know, Naughty Dog. They put out, you know, usually they just put out trilogies and then they're done. They did the Crash Bandicoot trilogy. They did the Jak and Daxter trilogy. I was shocked to find that they were doing a fourth Uncharted.
Yeah.
But Naughty Dog has never steered me wrong with a game. Never.
Did they do Sly Cooper too?
I don't think so.
Did they do Sly Cooper?
No, they usually just get one.
Who did Sly Cooper?
Who did Sly Cooper?
Yeah.
I know Naughty Dog's usually one franchise per. God damn it.
As Adam searches it.
Naughty Dog is usually a one franchise per generation. They were done by
Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch, yeah.
Another great studio.
Another great studio, actually, yeah.
You know, I mean, to add to this argument
Yeah.
of great studios, you know, Sucker Punch has always been good for me.
I know, and so yeah, these companies they actually try, and Bungie was in that list, and now
For me, they're on the bottom of the list. They're still in that list of good developers because of Halo and the whole Halo, you know, series, because that is their brainchild. They still have that at heart.
Yeah.
But it hurt them so bad that they're on the bottom of that list. And honestly, if they make another game, they're probably gonna be out of that list for me. You know, if they make another bad game like this, where they do this kind of thing, they will definitely be off that list.
They do this kind of thing. I mean, Destiny could have been good, but you know, just.
I actually was super hyped for Destiny 2. You saw me.
I was too.
hyped.
I was excited as hell, and I thought at least, you know, they're making it for multiplayer, but I thought they would at least give me an interesting single player experience. But you know, I'm like 4 hours into the game, and every time I go down, I'm landing in the same spot and having to walk over the same stuff to get to something new. It's just, it's too repetitive for single player. So,
how's the story isn't that good?
no, the story,
Or even told well, or told at all.
the story is not told at all. Actually, you have to. I think we mentioned in a past episode, you have to collect cards, get off the game, go on Bungie.net,
Yeah.
and then look at the cards and then read them to get the story. And it's, why do you even bother putting the story in there? Why didn't you just do a game with raid bosses and online multiplayer? Because that's really all it's going to be.
I mean, that's pretty much Borderlands.
Well, Borderlands has the story.
I know, but I mean, if you wanted that, why didn't you just go to Borderlands?
Yeah.
Because actually, I was thinking you're going to like Borderlands, all of them, split screen.
That is true.
Even the pre-sequel has split screen.
We're playing it on PC though.
I understand, but you know, you're saying
Yeah.
for people, you know, I mean, it's going away. At least they understood that that's when the people still want it.
Yes. And there is a game coming out next week that I hope will still keep the split screen. That is the Halo Master Chief Collection, which
Does come out on, ironically, Tuesday. So
we will be streaming that during the day.
So catch us before our normal Gamer Guides to the Galaxy time frame, which is 8 to 9.
8 to 9 Eastern.
Eastern Standard Time.
Same
So
time, yeah.
we're probably gonna be playing earlier than that, you know what I mean? So probably I would say at least at noon you can probably turn in and find
Yeah.
us. We may be doing it earlier than that. We haven't decided just yet.
And
But we may be playing all the way up into the minute that we start Gamer Guides to the Galaxy. We do not know currently. But I know that we will be streaming, and it will be a lot of fun, especially because I'll probably be yelling at Adam on how bad he is at Halo. And also that OP pistol, though. That OP pistol.
that OP pistol. Oh, yeah, you didn't play Halo 1 and 2. I got the advantage in that.
No, I've played Halo 1.
Yo, you played the anniversary.
Exactly.
I got the advantage in Halo 2 though.
So that's when the sticky grenade arc came in, though.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mastered the sticky grenades in Halo 3, so you're done.
Okay. Well, that's all for us today, folks, and
Well, have a nice day.
see you next week. Bye bye.